Hey, Nathan here. Welcome back to another C++ tutorial. And in this tutorial, we are going to discuss one of the most common conditional statements you will be using, which is if, else, and else if. So last tutorial, we discussed variables and how to represent a value inside memory with a nice name that you will give it, whether it is X, Y, Z, or health, or whatever you choose. The only rule is that it cannot start with a digit, a number value. And in this video, we're going to discuss conditional statements, and the most common one is the if and else, and then else if. Okay, so let's say we have a int health here. And let's say our health is 25. Okay, and then think of that as if you were playing a game, and the way you want your game to work is you want to display a message on the HUD, the heads-up display, to get health whenever your health is lower than a certain point. So let's say if your health is below 40, it will have a message that says you need to get health. If it is above 40, but less than, let's say, 70, it'll say your health is getting low, consider getting health. And then if it's higher than, let's say, 70, it'll just say your health is good. Okay, so if. Now, inside of the parentheses, if needs to have parentheses here. And inside these parentheses, you need to have a Boolean expression. Remember, in the last video, we discussed variables, and one of the variable types I mentioned was a Boolean value, true or false. So you need to have something that represents a true or false value. In this case, we'll use our variable, health, and then we need to think of something that makes this a Boolean expression. And what I mentioned before, if it's less than, let's say, 40%, if the health is less than 40, we need to have a message that says get health now. So if health is less than 40, that's a Boolean expression. It'll test to see if health is less than 40. You and I both know it is because it's 25. So if health is less than 40, we want it to display get health immediately. Okay. And then what I mentioned is if it is above 40 but less than, let's say, 70, it'll say consider getting health. Your health is getting low. That is what we can use else if for. We have an else. That means whatever this, the opposite of this, which means this failed. So let's say 40, even 40, because health has to be less than 40 here. So if health is equal to 40 or above, this will fail. That is false. 40 is not less than 40. So else if health is still less than, let's say, 70. Let's see out. Consider getting health. Your health is getting low. Or something you want to display. All right. So we have two conditions here. What is satisfied? Everything below 70 is satisfied. If it's below 40, it'll display this message. If it's below 70, it'll display this message. But health can go from 70 to 100%, so we need to cover that range as well. There we can just provide an else. That means if this fails and if this fails, this will be evaluated. This block of code will be executed. So let's say 85. So our health is 85. health is not less than 40, okay, so we go to the else if. Else if requires a test here. 85 is not less than 70, okay, else. Else does not need to check anything, so if these two fail, this always executes. See out. Your health is good. Alright, I'm going to put sin.get here. Alright, so I'm going to start debugging this. Our health is 85. So I'm going to start debugging this. And you should expect to see your health is good. Your health is good. Alright. I'm going to change this to 65. Consider getting health. Your health is running low. That's above 40, but below 70. All right, let's change it to 10. Get health immediately. So this is what we can use to determine what happens. You know, this provides branching in our code. If health is this, then run this part of the program. If health is that, run that part of the program. You know, if you think about very basic artificial intelligence, you can automate your get health now process. You can have a automated entity with artificial intelligence, and if your health is below 40, you can have that artificial intelligence entity get health. Or you can say if it's below 20, drop everything you're doing and get health. If it's above 20 but below 40, you can set that high into the priority list. So this is what we do for code branching. If one condition is met, do this part of the code. If a different condition is met, do a different part of the code. So as you saw here, whenever I changed the health value, our code changed. The way that the code was presented to us changed because the output changed. It didn't execute this line. It didn't execute this line. When our health was 85%, it only executed this line. But it did have to check this and this. So this was a very quick tutorial. I just wanted to get this out here. I'm trying to get through these as fast as I can. There is another conditional statement that you will be using. It's called the switch statement, and I'll get into that later. So this is the if, else if, and else statement, and you can use it for doing certain things in your code. If your map state is active, you obviously want to update your map. If the map state is not active, don't bother updating your map because it's not active. You can save CPU cycles by not updating your map. So those are the things that you can use this conditional statement for. Next tutorial, we're going to discuss looping. And some of the most common ones you'll be using. I'll discuss 3 of those in this next episode: the for loop, the while loop, and the do while loop. And then there's one looping statement I'll discuss later. But next tutorial, I'll discuss looping. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you next time. Hopefully I'll feel better to get a lot more of these out there. I will not be able to get a third one out. My throat's kind of getting on my nerves here. And next weekend, I'll hopefully be able to do a lot more of these. So I hope you enjoyed these last 2 tutorials, and I'll see you next time.